Welcome to Enlightened Connections, a space for intuition, healing, and remembering what connects us. I'm Lisa Aston Michael. If you'd like to continue these conversations, follow on Spotify and stay with us. Welcome everyone once again to Enlightened Connections, and thank you so much for your time. My very special guest today is Paul Quinton. He is a transformational mentor, energy worker, channel, writer, and teacher of soul integration and esoteric knowledge. Paul was raised in a deeply intuitive and spiritually aware family, where his connection to the unseen world began early, and it naturally evolved over time. While he has trained in the range of healing modalities, he describes his greatest teacher as spirit itself, guiding him through direct communication and what he refers to as a downloading process of insight, knowledge, and awareness. Paul is the creator of the Alignment Modality. That's an internationally recognized and insured system, now established in over 45 countries. This work's emerged through years of lived experience, intuitive development, and a commitment to translating complex spiritual information into something grounded, practical, and accessible. His focus is on empowering people to reclaim sovereignty over their own minds, bodies, and energy, while connecting with the deeper multidimensional aspects of their consciousness. Paul also shares his channeled insights through his own podcast, an online community, offering reflections on the soul, healing, and the current shifts in human awareness. With published works on the horizon, his mission is to bring forward information that supports real transformation without the fluff, and always in service to others. Welcome, Paul.
Thank you, Lisa. It's lovely to be on. Thank you very much.
It's such an honor to have you here. We've got much to talk about today. I made the mistake of visiting your website. And so,
Yeah.
and I've
Quite a
gone,
lot.
oh my God, this is the most awesome rabbit hole. So I've got to start somewhere. So let's go back to when you were a little younger.
Yep.
And you've had a lifelong connection with spirit. Can you take us back to that first clear experience when you knew that this was real?
Yes, absolutely. So as you said, I grew up in a sort of psychic spiritual family. So every Tuesday we would do a sitting, or what you call séance, but really it was to sort of help stuck souls and a couple of my family members and a few of their friends, and we'd all come together. So I can't even remember how old I was. I must have been 3, 4, 5. And then from sort of 7 or 8, I used to sit more consciously every Tuesday night with them. So, obviously spirit would come in. I'd see spirit in the house. I could smell them as well. So all the senses were starting to open up. And it was really sort of, I suppose, because it was such a young age, it's just like learning a language at school when you're 6 and 7, it just becomes normal. And so it was, okay, that's my reality. But really it was fascinating because obviously, a lot of my friends at school wouldn't know about it or wouldn't even talk about it. And so it was always that sort of thing that I had. And I think for me, it built that trust and that sort of safety net, feeling everything's okay as you sort of, as you go through things. And when you're younger as well, it was always, I could talk to spirit. They've always got my back. It was always given to me that they're always there as a support system. So that was quite comforting in many, many ways. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of fear at the beginning as well, especially when, at night.
Yeah.
When you think,
What's under my bed?
Yeah, exactly. And it was in the 80s when all the bloody horror movies were out. So
Oh my gosh. Oh my
all that,
gosh. Yeah, we don't go down that road. I've seen some crackers. So
yeah.
essentially, were some of your family formal mediums in a sense?
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So
Yeah. So, my mum could sort of used to channel an American Indian, so she'd speak with this sort of man's voice. It was quite interesting.
oh, I love that. I
Very
love
good.
that. Okay, so she was a trance medium in a sense,
Mhm.
like she directs
Correct.
spirit.
Yeah.
Yeah, how beautiful. For you, that would have been mind-boggling. Like, who's mum? Who's with mum? Where did my mum go? Did you go to a school, a Catholic school or a Christian school or anything like that? Or did you go to what sort of school I'm interested to know.
Yeah, no, I did actually. Well, I went to normal school, and then they put me in a sort of private Catholic school, but it was only for the education because I wasn't religious in any way. If anything, we used to go to the spiritualist churches very occasionally.
Yeah, I was
So
wondering how you battled with perhaps being at school and being taught religion, and it's like, well, I know what I know, and this ain't it.
yeah,
So
absolutely, absolutely.
would have been very difficult. Yeah. So it's difficult enough when I think in later life, when you come to mediumship or you have a spiritual experience
Yeah.
and your journey begins, whether you want to call it an awakening or an awareness or something happens. But as a child, for that to happen to a child, it must have been very difficult for you to sort of see how other people functioned. Like, did you see them as normal because if they didn't see spirit, or did you see yourself as normal because you could, or I don't know if you were clairvoyant, but one way or another you did have spirit contact. Did you have troubles with that as a child?
No, not at all. I think it was just sort of my little secret, so I've got this as an appendage, and no, not at all, really. I think it was, if anything, I felt more comfortable, more confident because of that
Mm.
energy, around me, and spirit would always be in the house, and mum would be doing some healing on me or something, and then there'd be something happening in the room, and then she'd go, okay, that's spirit. So she used to teach me about the sound and what was what, and so it was very comfortable. But and I sort of grew up as a normal kid as well, so it didn't really sort of affect anything really. Yeah,
Yeah.
had that feeling of just knowing. But for me also, this world is full of misinformation. We're not taught that we are non-physical for physical. So for me, it was, I'm living in reality and everyone else isn't in that sort of way. Not that they're not. That's not what I thought like, but it's sort of, well, I know that that's going on, but a lot of people don't even believe it's real. But it
Yeah.
is real. And that's actually what supports the physical world, because without that non-physical reality, you can't have a physical world anyway. So actually, for me, that was home. This was
Yeah.
the pioneering space, as you were. But no, it was a wonderful experience in many ways. And I think understanding, and it was only really in my sort of 20s where I really sort of got deeper into it, and I think a lot of the fear started to go away because of what, obviously, I saw some of the shadow beings as well, put it that way. And so, and the stench, the smell is awful. I'd read years ago about the lower they go, the more away they are from their light, the more the smell becomes as a stench almost. And I had those experiences with smell and also feeling, and I've had quite a few different experiences with them actually, because then you understand that that's the polarity, and also it teaches you that your vibration is actually what protects you. It's not so much spiritual protection, it's how you react to it. And it's the energy you put out. So again, it's all magnetic. So it was good. And I think you have to have those experiences to really understand the duality of who we are. So it was.
I agree with you. And I think also an interesting thing is most mediums don't want to talk about that polarity. They don't, it's all love and light, and it's all, the wonderful guides and everybody loves you. But I can tell you from firsthand experience myself, and it was in the 80s, as a matter of fact, I had that first and thankfully only experience that was poltergeist. And
Okay.
yeah, which kind of led me on the path to what the hell was that? What happened? The gas stove came on, the flames came on, the
Oh,
whole.
wow.
Oh, it was.
You got the whole thing.
It was just
Amazing.
awful. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I can imagine. Yeah. Yeah.
And I actually thought someone was in my room because I could actually feel the breath on my face and hear
Wow. Okay.
the voice, and I thought, oh, this is a bit weird, but it was good. I was terrified for years, but as you go further along the path, you realize the respect that you must have working with the spirit world, and that these little nasties do exist, and you've got to be very aware of what you do and who you do it with and how you do it, and the whole box and dice. And I was very interested to read on your website, you channel, and one of the episodes I listened to was channeling from the Viridians. Now, these are obviously a group of beings that you you work with. Do you work with them all the time, Paul, or?
Yeah, so that they're part of my as spirit. Well, when they first came through, they said your soul is merged with our consciousness. So basically, what I was described, and I'm just going into a very brief understanding of this, is that when we're created, we go out as spirit forms, and then we will attach to already established entities or cultures or planets, whatever. And obviously, I migrated towards them, so I've been instrumental. So they basically said, you've got a very large memory of us at the soul level. So they've been part of my channeling. They bring through that mental energy. And then I work with another group called the Algorians, which is the feminine. So that's that balance. Yeah. So it's, and I've got a new group that just came through last week. So I haven't channeled them yet. So I'm in the process of sitting down with them.
Sounds like they're queuing up to talk to you. If we went back just even 10 or 15 years, even discussing things like channeling would have been, where's that little white jacket with the back to front sleeves? But nowadays it seems to be much more acceptable. People are much more open to it and feeling the experience of maybe it's not just I'm born, I die, and that's it. Maybe there's more to me. Maybe. And so people are searching more. This is not enough. And they're realizing, I think, their own power. And you work a lot with people to bring that awareness of exactly who they are. Do you find that you have to start at where people are? Do you start at their level and bring them into the recognition of who they are? It's a big thing.
Yeah, you sort of have to tailor it for many, many years. And I got this message because I speak this as we're speaking language. It's just normal. And the spirit told me, even, people that assisted to help with my business and friends and peers. And they said, we get it, but we don't get it. So for years, I just can't speak. I can't bring it down to that simple term. And then I wrote a book. And it keep getting rejected by the publishers because it said it's too out there, and this was loads of channeled information. I mean, for me, the information is fantastic, but ultimately, and it's only in the last since I'm rewriting this book where I'm sort of bringing it. And as Spirit said, you need to make it for the man on the street,
Right.
So it's digestible, and also for men as well, because 90% of my clients are women anyway, because they're a lot more open to this and they talk more in their emotions. And men will debunk a lot of it straight away. So it's sort of how do you get men to listen? And that's where we bring the sort of science and merge that with the esoteric. But really, I think you sort of just have to describe it in a way where it's tangible. So for a man, for example, or a woman that was, we say open, not really open to this, but feels something's wrong, may not even know about chakras. Then we would start to use the imagination. We get them to just use the imagination because that's what Einstein talked about. It's our greatest tool. It's the doorway into the unconscious. And when you put imagination into action, and there's no doubt or fear, it will manifest. So it's really, and then it's starting to bring these universal laws in. And so I'm in that sort of process now of really sort of changing the way I speak and making it more down to earth. And I think it's the right way. It's the right way because ultimately you can have all that esoteric knowledge, and I'll still put that other book out there. But I think the first one needs to be, as you say, I can read that and go, okay, I understand that. I can go with this.
Yeah, I get that. It's like coming in with theoretical physics to someone that's in grade school.
Exactly.
You've got to start somewhere. Do you find that a lot of the people a lot of the clients, the people that come to you because they've had an experience, or
Yes, they've done a little bit of work. Yeah, all different. Some haven't at all, but ultimately, they're open. A little bit open. I don't get too many people that have not heard of anything before, and I probably get sort of 1 in 20 that maybe hasn't really sort of open to this work. But generally, yeah. Again, it's that magnetic energy, isn't it? And also, people go, well, I've tried all this, tried all that, so I'm going to try this now, or they're not getting the answers from the doctors, so it's, yeah.
Yeah. Yes, it's all about taking our power back. So tell us about the alignment modality. Tell us about how obviously you're trained in a lot of modalities, but kind of the road that got you to that point. How did you arrive at that?
Yeah, well, simply when I started channeling, I was channeling with this other lady, and her spirit consciousness brought through and started saying to me, "Look, you need to start channeling now." And this was probably about 8, 10 years ago, probably, yeah, 8 or 10 years ago. And so then I started, and he said, "Okay, we'll start channeling now." And I did, and I started, and I was like, "Okay, it's coming through." And I started to write. I was like, "Okay, that was all right." and then every night I was writing, and I just had books and books of pages of stuff. And so it really took off from just a very natural, just having a channeled message really in that environment. And then they sort of talked about bringing a modality through that was tangible, and because basically the Alignment Modality is a 4-part modality, so it's spaced out. You have about 2 to 3 months between each module for integration, but it starts with getting the sort of conscious mind out of the way. We do some activations like you would do in Reiki. There's a set of symbols. So it's sort of the same sort of thing in many ways, obviously different. And then it's more the esoteric knowledge, getting to understand what this is all about. We go into a little bit of the neural reprogramming. And there's always a lot of healing that goes on. Spirit come through because it's a channel modality. So when we're on, they'll come through different messages. And also we have obviously a PowerPoint. And so what happens really is the intuitive and psychic development we really focus on. So every night you will do a part of the night is that it's focused on that, because they're life skills that anyone, once you've got those and you trust that, your feelings, that consciousness, the soul, then you can sort of start to take a back seat and let everything start to manifest for you. So it's really about getting the mind out, getting the polarity and alignment, stop using all this masculine energy of striving, struggling, I've got to go out there, got to create, use all this energy. So we sort of teach now, it's actually being receptive and healing that masculine energy, bringing that unconditional love back in the body. So that's really, that's sort of setting the stage for module 1. Module 2 goes into all the shadow work. So it's all of your shadow experiences that are unresolved. So all your denial, your anger, your resentment, and other experiences, but also the shadow components that have been placed upon us. Like stuff like vaccine imprints, heavy metals. We go into the reptilian brain, we do the pineal, we do all the different parts to remove these sort of energetic blocks, shall we say. And we do a lot of work around the brain as well. And I'm just sort of highlighting. And then module 3 starts to introduce you to the non-physical. So we say, look, if you now want to meet these sort of energies around you, we start to create that and open that up. And then there's more activations, more healing. And then module 4, really, we start to teach people to channel right. Again, connecting with their higher self. So we say, look, in module 4, whatever you believe created you, you can start to connect with that now. So people say, oh, it's God, or they'll say, I just want to be with my soul, or it's my spirit, my highest consciousness, or whatever. And so it's really about letting the veil open so they can start to have imprints of the non-physical. But after the first module, people start to see, because they always say, oh, what's going to happen? I say, well, the first part will be, you'll see things peripherally. You'll be in your room and you'll see, oh, something just moved. And that's how they introduce themselves. It's very slow, and they never want to, freak you out or anything. But ultimately, what a lot of people don't realize is these are guides. And they say, oh, what guide is it? Where are they from? Who are that? Well, I say it's you. So guides are aspects of your own consciousness in the higher dimensions that come to assist you. So you're always surrounded by yourself. So it takes on a very interesting look at things. Yeah, there's angels, there's ascended masters and all the rest of it, but ultimately the real guides are yourself, because who else knows you better than you?
I never really looked at it that way before. That feels to me like a journey home. It's just a journey home.
It is all a journey home. Yeah. If you look at the consciousness of the planet, like we pioneered this gift of separation, which was to completely lose ourselves. This is why all the shadow has been so traumatic. So we've come full circle now. We've come back. It's time is cyclical. It's in cycles. So we've come back to that full now present moment, which is, like you said, the return home is exactly right now. It's not about ascension. It's about evolution. It's about letting go of the 3D network within your body, within your cells, within your emotions. And then what happens is you just awaken to what's already around you. If you want to call that 4D, 5D, whatever. But spirit don't even talk about 4D, 5D. They just talk about a realm of consciousness that you're awaking to.
Right.
And they never talk about ascension. It's all about evolution. Because we are ascended already, because we exist on all planes of consciousness.
I often feel like I'm some kind of shard of something else, just a shard of something. I love that you teach a practitioner's course as well. So
Yes,
that would
yes.
be like
So yes,
after you go.
after, yeah, absolutely. So that's really sort of to get you can attach it to your own modalities, what you're doing. So you could use it with Reiki, you could use it with cranial, you could use it with psychotherapy, whatever, or you can just do it as a standalone consciousness. Because really, what we've done is we've taken the word healer out of things, because Spirit have been very clear that you created everything and you're the one that needs to heal it. So we can't take away the pain. You can. I do cranial psychotherapy. I do massage. So I do a lot of body work and absolutely assist. But
Mhm.
ultimately, you have to feel the trauma, the emotion, the pain. So once that's felt and acknowledged through those universal laws, it will start to let go. So the New Age healer really is there. The weight worth in gold is the intuitive psychic development. So if I'm working with a client and I see a parallel lifetime that's affecting this, I can say, okay, this is happening in the 1700s, blah blah blah. You're looking like this, so that's affecting you now. So as soon as they acknowledge that, it releases it. So it's all about, this is where the quantum physics comes in, the observation technique of the wave particles. It's the same with emotional energy. So that's how you heal now. It's about putting people's awareness on what they cannot see, and then their own power, because we're already really all very powerful beings. We're just conditioned not to feel it. So we
Yes,
actually don't need to heal anyone. Every human being can heal themselves once they're conscious. Do you see?
yes,
So it's
yes, yes.
yeah,
And it's that awareness too of it's really super important to be aware that you're not just this lump of meat wandering around the place. You
yeah,
actually have so many, I guess, lifetimes, so many aspects of yourself that may be broken, that you've brought
yeah,
in with you, perhaps,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
and dragged like a ball and chain through this life, and then on top of that, you pile all the rest of it that's gone on top, the
yeah,
self, lack of the self-worth, imposter, all the things that society's made us feel, uh,
yeah,
because it works in the funnel. The funnel is specific, and
yeah,
the funnel says you must be kept down to be controlled, because God forbid we should recognize our own power,
yeah,
because
yeah.
by governments. But this is a perfect time, I think, for people to be really aware of what you offer, Paul, because it's unavoidable. There is something catalytic going on here at a micro level and a macro level and a spiritual level. It's like the
Yeah,
whole box. It's like someone's come along and got the box of toys and turned it all upside down, and we're all
yeah,
going, "What's going on? What happened?"
yeah,
You know.
yeah,
And people are lost, not just lost in terms of the physical, but
yeah,
also spiritually. They're really now questioning themselves as being more than what they believed themselves to always be, if that makes sense.
yeah, yeah,
Makes
yeah, yeah.
so what you do is you take them by the hand and you walk them through that. This is the unveiling of the truth of your power. That's what
Yes,
it's all about,
yeah,
right?
absolutely, absolutely.
It's important to connect with your higher self and acknowledge who you are, because then everything else comes into play. Then you connect with everything else because everything else is you. Would that make
Yes,
sense? That makes
yeah,
sense?
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And you have to be a clear channel. Otherwise, you're going to start pulling in lower vibrational beings, and they can manipulate the channel and the information as well, which you get a lot as well. So, yeah, it's doing that, like you say, connecting with your soul first, connecting with your higher self, and make sure if anyone's going to get into it, you really have to deep dive into your emotional body, because if you've still got a lot of fear or anger, as soon as you open that channel up, you're going to draw in beings that have got the same magnetic energy, angry beings or fearful beings, so
Yeah.
everything's magnetic on the planet. So it's the same as like you've got an abandonment wound. You're always going to be abandoned until you own the wound, until you resolve it. So, do you see what I mean? Because it's again magnetic. So you're constantly drawing everything to you to awaken you. It's not a punishment. It's actually, if you feel the abandonment, that's your opportunity to then resolve it. It's very hard to heal when you're not feeling the emotion, and this
Mm.
is why human beings are so stuck, because we push our emotions away. It's this man up culture, and that's the most toxic culture on the planet for men and women. Is to there's that suppression of that emotional energy, and that's what we call karma. Karma is a repeat. It's your soul triggering the same experience to awaken you up. So, everyone says, "Oh, it's just karma. I'm going to get karma." It's this polarity, but it's nothing to do with polarity. It's
Mhm.
actually to do with healing, to awaken you. So it's an
Think there's a
interesting one.
degree of fear too. I mean, what if I heal from this? What's on the other side? It's said the devil you know. I think a lot of people are fearful to,
Yes, absolutely. Yeah,
yeah, to face their fears, let alone getting to know who they truly are in the big
yeah.
picture. For listeners who might feel overwhelmed or unsure what to trust now, because we're in pretty hairy, scary times, and even if you don't watch TV and you tune out from all of that, we're energetic beings, and we can't help but feel the chaos and the turmoil that's going on, the changes, the adjustments, the shifts. So are the animals, actually. That's another story. I won't go down that road. But what's one simple, grounded way that people can start, I guess, reclaiming their own sovereignty is a big statement, but start to feel like, yeah, I can do this. I can take a step. I can take a step to change my life or to get hold of my fears or to open up to, yes, I'm willing to look a little bit deeper. What would you say would be the first step for them to take, apart from coming to your website, of course?
Yeah, no, absolutely, absolutely. I think firstly you need to. It depends on the person as well, but ultimately, you would start to connect in with your soul. So anytime I work with someone straight up, first time I work with them, I give them the soul connection exercise, because what that is basically a how do you say? I suppose the best way to say it is it's a vibrational field around you. So when people start to feel that, they go, "Oh, hang on, I can feel that." It starts to build rapport with the process. Then that initial connection will trigger their super intelligence, and they'll start to then open up to more intuitive ideas. Synchronicity will start to follow, and then they'll be reading an article, and then the workshop will pop up for what they're meant to do, or the book they're meant to read. And
Mm,
then the universe will start just chucking everything in front of you. And
mm,
that is your journey. And then you follow that journey. But
mm,
ultimately, you've got to really, like, if you wanted to keep it sort of simple, you would start to just be out in nature for a good hour a day barefoot, just to get all of the distrust, the vapor of consciousness out of your feet into the earth, to rebalance. This will lower your blood pressure. It will lower the nervous system, reduce the nervous system polarity in the nervous system. Then when you're in a calmer space, your soul can talk to you much easier. And then you'll start to get feelings. You'll start to get the the goosebumps.
tingles.
And then, yeah, it's that calling from the non-physical. So when you get the goosebumps, that's spirit. That's the meridian system, because the meridian system is the gateway to the non-physical, to the physical body. So everything moves through that meridian system before it goes into the chakras. So we sort of teach to connect in with that. So then you start to feel the subtleness, but ultimately
Mm,
just set the intention. So just get into like a meditative state where you just take a lot of deep breaths, because a lot of people don't know how to meditate. Even that word, "oh, I've got to meditate," freaks people out. Oh, how do I do it? So we try to say, breathe, just relax, get the body so you're almost weightless. So you can, like, oh my God, I can't even feel in my weight. When you're in that space, in the full now present moment, and
mm,
everyone can do that, you
mm,
set the intention, you say, "Hey, soul," or whatever you believe in. If you want to say God, say God. It doesn't really matter. Show me what I need to do. I'm ready. And then you've got to just let go and trust. And then something will happen. It always does,
mm,
because if it's your soul contract to awaken in this life, as soon as you put that intention out to the universe, it's going to flood in. Because the irony is the soul is exhausted, and it wants the human self to awaken, because it wants to get out of this 3D polarity, because we've been battling for so many lives. Do you know some people spend 3-4 lifetimes on one issue, and they never resolve it in the whole life, and they keep coming back to resolve, because as soon as you pass over, everything that you it's continual. So everything gets wired into the new body. You can't escape anything.
mm,
It's all continual. So you have to really, and that gets exhausting for the soul. And a lot of people deep down are exhausted with misinformation, exhausted with not getting real answers to real problems, but also soul exhausted. So a lot of people, like you said, are feeling this heavy energy. this is the deepest grief that we've had from losing ourselves, our consciousness. And that I feel is coming up. And especially the last 3 years, it's been really quite heavy. So a lot of that, people talk, I'm just tired from work. No, you're soul tired. You're
Yeah.
soul tired. There's a difference. You can feel it in your bones, and I think a lot of people are feeling that now as well, apart from their own physical lifetimes. Yeah.
I guess that makes a lot of sense too, in the way that if we keep making the same mistakes and we got to come back again, it's like, right, here we go again. But yeah, and the idea is it's pretty simple, really. The idea is love, compassion, kindness, humility, all of the lovely things, gratitude, respect, reverence for all that is. It's not hard. It's not a big ask, really, in the scheme of things. But I think that we feel so hurt. You know that expression, hurt people, hurt people? I think we're so hurt and we're so confused about having to defend ourselves against everything that we do tend to sometimes bob around at the bottom end of the vibration. The anger, the fear, the envy, all that sort of stuff. When really it's just a matter of saying, well, you know what, that doesn't work and I don't want to come back here again. So let's just let's just
like the present.
No, whose idea was this?
Yeah. I've just, they're telling me to say this to you. It's another on your question of what people do, and this is probably even more important actually, is understand that the worst person in your life is generally going to be your greatest teacher, because they are reflecting your shadow. So if someone's always triggering anger in you or fear, instead of blaming or defending yourself or being insular, just go, okay, that person's just triggered this anger in me. It's not about the story, because at the soul level, you've asked them to trigger it in you so that you can let go. So that's the first thing anyone can do, because everyone's going to walk out of this room or, go out in their day and they're going to be triggered on some level. That's your emotion. So that's where we use this technique to sort of resolve the emotion. Basically, it's an observation technique where you don't put thought into it. You just breathe into it and just acknowledge it with love and gratitude. And then by universal law, the emotion will let go of the body. So people right now, even if they don't understand it, stop reacting to the story. And I always say, watch the news, because the news is the greatest healer, because it's all negative. So when you watch the news, no, just for healing, because if you get triggered at anger or fear or sadness, it's not about the story. That's your sadness. So deal with that sadness, breathe through that sadness, acknowledge it with love, and then you will start to, this is what we say, peeling back the layers. And then you're already awakened to your already perfect natural self, because you are already powerful. A lot of people think they need to go out and learn it, earn it. No, you need to stand still and remove the conditioning. That's all it is. Be soul present and everything will start to take off. And I've seen so many amazing transformations. I've been doing this full time for 23, 24 years now. And it's amazing when people come into alignment with their soul, they always say, and I had the experience as well, I stepped back and everything just sort of happened. I was like, I don't even know how it happened. And they said new business has been created, or they've managed to be in a new relationship after 16 years of stuck in one, and just all happened overnight. And it's amazing when that soul energy comes in and you realize the power of who you are and what you're capable of, by being an observer of things and you do take a step back. You do take a step back.
That's the word I was given. I didn't want to interrupt you, but I kept hearing observer.
Yeah.
Observer. That's what it was. That's what you were getting at.
Yeah.
Is that it's not that you're being ignorant or cold or insensitive, but you're becoming the observer of the situation without allowing the emotion to become you, to overwhelm you. Yeah.
Exactly.
Wow.
Exactly. And if you acknowledge those emotions with love and gratitude, they will let go.
That is massive, because you know what? You got me thinking now, because I can't watch any war movies, anything like Full Metal Jacket or Hamburger Hill.
Right.
I can't. Something creates this absolute, it's not sad, it's terror. It's actual nausea. It's nausea to see that level of violence. So I've often thought to myself, oh, maybe I did that in a previous life, and now I can't cope with seeing what I've done to others.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you look at our history, all of us have been involved in war. Even if you're a medic on the war field and you've seen all those, limbs missing and blood everywhere, it's traumatic. Even PTSD now, all the soldiers now get it as well. So
Yeah.
we're not emotionally set up for that. Really, it's too traumatic.
No, but some people can watch it and go, "That was a great movie," and I'm like,
Yeah,
"What?"
and
So
that sits between your base chakra and your sacral chakra. That energy, this terror.
yeah, there's a lot of gunk down there that needs to be cleared out. That's for another time.
Yes,
Wow. And Paul, I also noticed that you've got a live healing. Can you tell us a little bit about that live healing? What is
yeah.
the concept for that?
Absolutely. So we're doing it. Well, I'm just going to start doing it every month, but at the moment we're doing quarterly because of all the shifts going on. So basically, what it is a healing for the time. So what's going on in the collective, what's going on in people's nervous systems, because we're constantly shifting energy, and our cells are going through a lot of transformation. So basically, spirit will come through me. We start channeling. There's a lot of information, so we talk about what's going on, and then that will relate to all of them personally as well, because when they all come together, they've got a collective wound too, which is interesting. But basically, yeah, it's a live healing with spirit, and they will take us through. And ultimately, what happens is then whoever's on the call, their own consciousness will come into their room and start working with them as well. So it's really about magnetizing a lot of energy and frequency. But ultimately, it's what's going on the planet at the time. So yeah,
That's absolutely
but
perfect.
deep healing, deep healing.
Yeah. And and people can find that live healing evening. Well, I say evening because it's UK, but for us over here, it's
Early
7
morning.
o'clock, early morning, on your website, which is alignmentmodality.com. This will
Correct.
be, or your website, social information will be in the links on the episode, live episodes. But that is the way to find you. And also, if you're looking at listeners, if you're looking at doing some work with Paul through his classes outside of the live healing evening, you can also find that on his website. And for those who wish to continue on and perhaps learn the practitioner level as well, it's all there at alignmentmodality.com. Now, Paul, before you go, I like to ask my guests one question.
Okay.
And, yeah, it's okay, it's not scary. It's like, "Oh my god." It's pretty simple, actually, but if you had one message for the world right now, what would your message be?
What my message be? Stop worrying, because the worry creates more worry, because there's so many that worry and panic. Learn about emotional energy, which is what we were talking about before, because once you understand that and you're not at the whim of your emotions, they're controlling you, your life will do a 180 overnight. 100%. So just go into self-inquiry, because a lot of people say, I need to go to India, I need to go on this pilgrimage, I need to do ayahuasca. No, you're most powerful when you're sitting at home, because when you change the vibration at the cellular level in the physical body, obviously you're changing energy as well. When you go out to the supermarket and the restaurant, the person you sit next to or around you, that your cells are going to talk to their cells. Now, if their cells want to awaken, you're going to pass all that information on to them. That's going to trigger synchronicity. That's how you awaken the planet. So every human being can assist everyone else. No one, it doesn't matter if you're the bus driver, you have the power to shift the planet, just like every other human being. So work on yourself, but be at home. Just get into self-inquiry now. That's the most important journey. Trust, because you've got to go in and do that inner work, and then everything will change. Your relationships will change, your abundance will change, everything. Your health will get better, because we're not meant to live as weakened, downtrodden human beings. We're very powerful beings, and we're coming back to that consciousness now. So it's a choice. Suffering's now a choice. You can step into your light, or you can continue that cycle. So it's, yeah.
That's beautiful advice. You remind me of a bus conductor when I lived in Sydney, grew up in Sydney, and they used to have the bus conductors that came down with the little ticket thing and,
Oh,
you know,
yes. Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
remember that? He'd get on the bus and immediately the whole energy of the bus would
Amazing.
just lift, because he'd get on. He was an English guy too, and he'd just sing away, and he could sing quite nicely, but that wasn't the point. The point was that usually when he'd ask people for money, they'd, be met with sort of, "Oh, yeah, I have to pay for this," and that sort of energy. But
Yeah,
it
yeah,
wasn't like that at all. He changed everything just by being much lighter in himself.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
And,
yeah.
yeah, I think if you can do that, You make the world a better
Real
place.
earth
That's
angel.
beautiful
Yeah,
advice.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
beautiful advice. Paul, I thank you so much for your time today. There's so much more about what you do, and I really, really encourage people to take a look at the work that you do. It's beautiful, and I love the channeling that you do. And I think that there's a lot of guidance that people can receive from your channeling as well. Outside of yourself, it's nice to be a channel, isn't it? It's a real honor to be a channel, I think, to be
Yeah,
able to allow that higher wisdom and higher guidance to come through. And you do that so beautifully. So, Paul Quinton, thank you so much for your time. It's been an absolute honor and a pleasure.
no, thank you, Lisa. Absolutely. And thank you so much for having me, and what a lovely interview. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Bye for now. Thanks for listening to Enlightened Connections. Make sure you're following the show on Spotify or wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. If this episode meant something to you, you can support the show by buying me a coffee. The link is in the description, and I read every message. And don't forget to leave a quick review on Apple Podcasts. It only takes a minute and makes a huge difference in helping others find the show. Until next time.